And here we go again for another shortwave show. So just check out if everything is all right here. And we'll be moving on as soon as everything seems okay. Yep. Everything seems to be cool. So that's okay here. And let's chat here. And here we are again for Montreal, Canada. And here we go for another show of the Shortwave channel. So hey everybody, welcome aboard as we are starting this show on this Friday evening. Today, a wide selection of websites that I have found and go through regularly. Also, for those that do have websites, after I go through my websites, if you want to share one of the websites that maybe I haven't talked about, you can share with everybody about shortwave radio or amateur radio. Why not do it? As we'll be looking at all of that, and some of you might have websites that I've not talked about today that are of interest. So this is a shortwave show. We are here every week, alternating Fridays and Saturdays. Fridays with the big screen TV, Saturdays in the radio room with the ICOM and everything. I think it's fun for the visual changes that it gives also. We are here on Fridays and Saturdays, so we alternate the Friday show today, June 16th, and the Saturday show will be next week, of course, June 24th, which is the national holiday here in Quebec. So I think it's going to be cool to have all of these shows. And of course, we are here from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. My name is Gilles. We are, of course, offering you entertainment, lots of fun. Hope everybody has fun tonight. We're going to go through some websites that hopefully will make your hobby more interesting, maybe. And if at the end of my websites, some of you want to join in with your own websites that you might be using, of course, we'll be checking that out. And hope everybody is going to have a lot of fun. And today I don't have beer. Today I have white wine, which is kind of very, I don't know, not very manly for some reason. I don't know. So cheers everybody, white wine. And this bottle is from a friend of mine that came over for supper a couple of weeks ago, and finally left his bottle here and said, hey, it's your gift. So I thought I'd take it out tonight and have a little white wine. So cheers, everyone. Okay, so I was listening to Radio Kuwait 15540 right now. There was just a few minutes ago some Lady Gaga, and hope everybody is okay. Hey, everyone in the chat room. There's a beautiful chat room. If you have a Gmail account, there's a really cool chat room in the YouTube live page. There's also I'm on the IRC chat room of the Digital Addictions IRC shortwave chat room. So it's going to be interesting tonight for sure. I have a little bit of news about an upcoming event that is going to happen next week. So I think everybody that might be interested in here will check it out. So I want to say hello to SG2 East Nebraska. 90 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy rain. Here it's cloudy and 68, which is just perfect for me. I can tell you that. Scotty Tier 6, hello there from Toronto. Carol T, nice to have you here. Hans the Zoo, hello there. Royal Howard, nice to have you here from Niantic, Connecticut. Ghost World, hello there, nice to have you on board in New Jersey. Hey, Bobby Burgess, nice to have you here. Yes, I have tried. I don't know if right now I can hear it, but let's check it out. I'm not sure. almost nothing right now. It seems it's making it better on 15140 in the winter time here. So Ghost World, hello there. Carol T, of course. What do we have? Mick, hello there. Nice to have you on board. Richard Cook, Cook Rick 555. Hey Jerry. DX, nice to have you here. Jessianic, sorry, from New Jersey. Of course, Carly Tier 6. Steve P in Australia, good morning. Nice to have you on board. Matthew Kelleher, or aka MDK2. Nick Beer, nice to have you here. Juan Amigo, hello there, from Spain. Really cool to have everybody here. Jonathan George, nice to have you here. Newcastle upon Tyne, UK. Jeff, KD5QDO, hello there from Southeast Texas, 90 degrees Fahrenheit and humid. William Helms, hello there from Florida, nice to have you here. Who has Nick Amendot from Romania, hello, nice to have you on board. And it's really cool. VA2XMX Petro, nice to have you here also. If I miss out on anybody, please say hello. It's always nice to have all of you on board. We, of course, had to this Elzebub 007, Greenville, South Carolina. What else do we have? Ralph Bender, hello there. Deborah Argon, good evening. Parrot Sale, hello. Joseph Schembri in Malta. Joe in Malta, European Union, cool. Joe Simonis, hello there, Defiance, Ohio. Pretty cool. And here we're in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. We got these fine people from all across the world, which is just so cool. Just so cool. And we're going to have, of course, a selection of, we'll tune around the bands. If you guys have a signal or something, we'll have a selection of websites that I'm going to share with all of you. Maybe some of you will find some websites you didn't know about. And I'll explain why those websites are interesting for me, and why I keep these websites pretty handy in my, the favorites of my browser. Boots Connor, hello there. Nice to have you on board. A little bit of news I want to say. Thanks to everybody that shared, including Jerry that sent me the email with the link. There is every year around the summer solstice a special BBC midwinter broadcast test transmissions that is meant for Antarctica. So this year the test will happen on June 21st, and the times and frequencies for the BBC midwinter broadcast this year, and this is only one day, it's on June the 21st, from Ascension Island transmitter site 2130 to 2145 on 7360. From Dabaya 2130 to 2145 on 6035, and Wooferton in the UK from 2130 to 2145. The two frequencies they'll have there, 7230 and 5985. So once again, the schedule for the midwinter BBC shortwave broadcast test transmission to Antarctica. From Ascension Islands, 2130 to 2145 on 7360. From Dabaya, I believe that's a UAE transmitter site, if I'm not mistaken. If somebody can just correct me on that. 2130 to 2145 on 6035. And Wooferton, that's the UK transmitter site. 2130 to 2145 once again, 7230 and 5985. So if we resume, it's 2130 to 2145, 15-minute broadcast, and it is all the frequencies are 6035, 5985, 6035, 7230, and 7360. So these are not really good for North America at that time. 2130 is what, 5:30 p.m. here. The best bet would be the highest frequency for me, and 7360, but it's going to be pointing away from us towards Antarctica, so I don't think it's gonna it's gonna be audible really in North America. I don't expect to hear that one. Maybe 7230 and even 7230. I don't think we'll make it here. So, but you guys in Europe and people in Africa and maybe part of South America might have some chance at getting that. So it's the BBC midwinter broadcast. It happens once a year, and this year it is on the June the 21st. So hope everybody can tune in on that. Brandy Handle 03, hello there. I have a question. What do you think of the new design of the Soft 66Q? And is it the same device as the Soft 66 RTL? It is different in the way that it works. Basically, I'm just going to check it out quickly here. Soft 66Q. Just check it out. So, okay. I did see it, but I did not look at much of the specs. So the Soft 66Q, which is a different direct sampling. Yeah, that's the difference. The Soft 66Q is a direct sampling receiver instead of being the like the RTL, which is not a direct sampling on the RTL. So there probably should be increased performance out of this, and it has a much wider frequency coverage also. So this could be interesting. Just looking here at the frequency coverage, starts from 3 kilohertz and goes up to 24 megahertz here, from what they say. So interesting, and it seems to be also very high precision in its frequency calibration. So it must be probably a better version of the Soft 66, and the direct sampling will make it also better to use basically. So it's kind of an upgraded version, except it's not a wideband thing. Soft 66Q is a very short. It's really starts very low at 3 kilohertz, goes up to 24 megahertz from what I see here. So it's not like the Soft 66 RTL that actually has up converter and has a frequency range into the gigahertz up to about 1.7, 1.8 gigahertz, and basically. So it doesn't serve the same purpose, but the Soft 66Q is really for if you are into long wave, medium wave, and short wave, probably a little more interesting because of the direct sampling, no up converter basically. But it's not exactly the same device. Okay, Parrot Sailors listening to RTTY on 6.58 for the past 2 hours. For 2 hours the other night, decoded, but all encrypted. Yeah, lots of encrypted RTTY on the HF bands, that's for sure. What else do we have here? I would guess that Ascension gets power from diesel engines. They probably have some generators there. I don't think they have, in a place like that, they have their own power plant probably for those transmitters. Daniel Walsh, hey there, welcome. Nice to have you on board. Ghost World says, saw your answer on shortwave shortwave video. We're really excited for that video series. Yep, and the next one will be next Wednesday. So next Wednesday, 2000 hours UTC, we're going to be live again. Next topic of the beginners shortwave lessons, if you want, will be the shortwave receivers and we'll talk about the different types of receivers, and also give some examples of some of the receivers with price ranges that are interesting for anybody, and see the different receivers available on the market, and what's the difference between all of that and what they can receive. So the next one will be next next Wednesday. So, okay. Casey Red Dragon, hello there. Nice to have you here. Thanks, Carol T. The V3 is RTL is direct sampling also. So, interesting. Okay. Thanks, Ralph, for sharing the blog of the Shortwave Listening.com website for the BBC Midwinter broadcast on June the 21st. And how much does it go for the South 66 Q, just by any chance? Okay, today we're going to talk about websites, and I will share with you guys some of the websites. So the first one that we'll talk about today, is beacons. There's a lot of beacons on the HF bands. What are beacons? Beacons are basically little transmitters that are put on the air to simply, they are mostly for propagation purpose. So lots of them. Here is a list of HF beacons, mostly amateur radio stuff that you can try and get. And basically we are on the G3 USF's worldwide list of HF beacons. So this is an interesting list to have. Of course, this list includes beacons from the 160 meter band with all the details, where they are, the call sign for most of them, power used, the type of antenna that's used, and of course all the information. So here you've got 160 80 meters, you've got some 40 meters. So every amateur band basically has some beacons, of course. So you can check that out if you want to try them. The interesting part of beacons is, of course, the propagation conditions, and it's kind of fun sometimes to DX beacons. So this is one of the first websites that I want to talk about. It is, of course, a very nice website for that. I will share it with the chat room, of course. So this one is available from this website that I will actually post in the chat. So here you go, guys. The beacon list. Paste. And here we are. So that's the first website I'm going to share. So this is beacon list. It is really mostly for propagation purpose. So what you do is you tune around, and depending on the beacons that you can listen to on the frequency ranges there, it actually tells you which part of the world is open to your area. There's a lot of beacons. So if you hear, say you're on the 40 meter band and you hear some European beacons, well, you know that, okay, 7 megahertz, 40 meters is kind of open from your area to Europe, and so on. So these are really, really mostly for propagation. But, it's fun to DX those also. It's like, they are very low power. So if you hear, a 1 watt beacon 500 miles away, or 2,000, 3,000 kilometers away, it's kind of cool, because it's like, wow, just 1 watt, and I actually get that that beacon. So it's really, really cool for that. And it is a very, very nice little list. And by the way, the same website also has a 6 meter beacon list for those that want to know the 50 megahertz beacons. It's one of the very complete lists that exists of beacon out there. There are others. I did find other websites, and basically a beacon is always sending in Morse code. Most of the beacons are Morse code identifiers. So basically what a beacon sounds like, it is CW or Morse code, and which helps them make great distance also. So beacon list, great, nice to have for the fun of chasing them, and for also the fun of just checking out Propagation also, which is pretty cool. So it's really, really, really fun. Like Timothy Paris Jr. says, beacons tell you when a band is open, and you can DX long distance on it or not. So they are pretty much all in Morse code. So, you know, it's another, by the way, nice way to brush up and learn Morse code a little bit, because you'll have to, you know, listen to the ID, since you have the, you know, call signs or call letters of most of these beacons. You'll get accustomed to the different letters in Morse code and what they are, because, you know, if you try to, here for example, if you get one that is the VP8 VHF, well, what's cool is you'll hear the ID in CW. So Morse code will send VP8 VHF. So as you listen more and more to beacons, it's actually an interesting way of learning Morse code without learning Morse code in a way that's maybe sometimes not super cool. You know, just sitting down and listening to some Morse code to learn Morse code is not that entertaining most of the time. And here, well, you know, because you want to make sure that it's the good station you're listening to, it's going to force you to actually acquire the Morse code skills, and in a fun way, because now you're, of course, trying to, you know, ID some of these beacons. So G3 USF's worldwide list of HF beacons, great list for sure. Hello there, Totar. Nice to have you here. He's listening to Radio Kuwait 15540, like local AM. So, of course, they are 500 kilowatts. I assume all beacons are all automated. Yep, absolutely, Ghost World. These are usually automated beacons, so they are, you know, Raspberry Pis with transmitter attached to it, a little antenna, separate antenna from the rest of the rig. Most of them are maintained by either clubs, you know, amateur radio clubs, or a lot of them are also just you know, amateur radio operators that just want to have some beacons that, you know, to participate in the propagation lookout. Hello there, Adrien of 4GVE. Nice to have you here. And hello, Timothy Perry Jr. And really nice. And he's a ham. His call sign is K4GRN. Nice to have you on board. And of course, always fun to have the call signs of everybody. If you ever log into the chat room or talk, don't hesitate to give your call sign. It's always nice to actually share the call signs with everybody else. So, beacon list, one of the first ones to tune around. Let's check out if Kuwait still comes in pretty well here. Yeah, it's there, but it's weaker than it was. Radio Kuwait 15540. It's a little weak now, 15540, but it's still there. Let's check out the 20 meter band. There's some amateur radio operators. Propagation has not been fantastic today, I noticed. I know that the K index was 5 a little earlier, so it does make it a little more difficult to have good propagation. So some amateur radio operators on 14192. Look at all those lines of noise. It's just amazing when you look at that. No problem, KC Red Dragon. The first website, Beacon List, which is pretty cool. What else do we have? F. Blassie checking in from the job, Oakland, California. Nice to have you on board. Scotty Tier 6VE3 UVA. A11, hello there, salut. Nice to have you on board from Y050TH. So nice to have everybody here. Bassett Remen, hello there, from Pakistan. AP2FLY, pretty cool, nice to have you here. Richard Goods listening to Iran on 9810. Joseph Stembry is 9HIGY from Malta. Nice to see everybody on board. So there is something on 14192. must be a DX station. I seem to hear a lot of stations trying to contact somebody on 14192. So pretty nice to have everybody here. Okay, next website we're going to go through. So we've had the beacon list. Next website we're going to go to is one that is amazingly cool if you are into chasing number stations. And it's the priom.org website. So priom.org website. And of course I will share that in the chat. Priom.org is a resource page for everything that is number station, but what's actually the coolest thing of that web page, is the fact that it has a live list of every stations coming up. So for example, here we're at 2025. You see here, this is the schedule and the number station schedules for today. So it's telling you next station in 6 minutes, M12 13417 in CW in case of traffic. So if on 2010 that one had traffic, there's going to be traffic at 13417. It tells you HM01 from Cuba 11635 at 2057. It is amazing. And it is pretty cool, because if you are into number stations, you'll have a constant live feed of every number stations that are going to appear on the shortwave bands. So, a lot of people saying, hey, are there still some shortwave, some number stations on shortwave? Yes, there are. There are tons of them. And so basically, by looking at the schedule, you can try the different frequencies and see if you can hear. For example, the ones we should hear, if propagation permits today, the 2100 XPA2 on 16167, maybe 2120 also. We're going to try those actually as we are going through the different websites. So of course, there's all sorts of information. The home pages like this. On the left side, you've got number stations and information on number stations, the different type of number stations available, and there's a lot of information on this page. If you are into number stations, if you feel like you want to have and listen to some number stations, wish to really catch one of those, because it's always kind of those mysterious transmissions basically, make sure that you check it out. I think it's going to be, first it's going to be cool for your knowledge. There's a lot of interesting stuff in here about number stations, which are, from what we guess and pretty much the information we have, secret stations sending out coded messages from governments to some spies somewhere. And so it's kind of interesting. It's kind of scary at the same time. You're thinking of all the traffic you see here, and you're like, wow, that's a thing happening without us really knowing what's happening basically. So it's a really cool website to check out. William Arcan, welcome from Nashua, New Hampshire. W1WRA, nice to have you on board. So there's a lot of those that are very easy to catch in general. It's like, we'll try the 2030 13417, we'll see. And it's in CW, so I'm going to try it out here. So it's 13417. Let's put it in CW mode. And if there is traffic and if propagation permits, we will have on 13417 Morse code. CW is Morse code. So let's check out if we hear anything. Now that is dependent, because here it says in case of traffic. In this case, it is dependent on the traffic on at 2010, I believe. So if at 2010 they say there's traffic, 2030 will have CW. Baron Coops, hello there. It doesn't load. You have to use a browser that is capable of running these. This is a little routine in JavaScript. So use Chrome or use one of the another browser. If it doesn't work for you, use another browser. It might not work in every browser. I've had an issue with, I don't remember which browser, but I've had an issue on one browser where it wouldn't load at all. But it should load. But it's just because here it's a kind of a JavaScript screen that's like a little routine running in the browser itself. So and it might not be impossible that the antivirus might be blocking it also. It sometimes happens. So I don't know if we'll hear anything. If we don't, we'll try the other ones. I'll keep this page open. And so this is a very, very nice website for number stations. It's possible in Edge doesn't work. I'm using Chrome. Here I'm in Google Chrome. So and on Chrome it works on every. I've never had that page not load in the Chrome browser. So it should. If you have Chrome, it should work. Ed says Chrome works. And this is Google Chrome also. Now this machine is a Windows 7 machine right now, but it's Google Chrome here. So when I've got all these tabs open, it's pretty amazing. I got like 22 websites open in tabs right now. So okay, and you see when you pass out. So here, not really nothing. I didn't hear anything. Two things possible in here, of course. Propagation. Propagation is possible. Also. Also, of course, like in this case, it might mean that that station had nothing for that time period. And also, you remember, you gotta choose the frequencies that are right for the time and the time of day you are. So one of the things for sure is that for example, here there was a 2010 M01B 4895 5340. Well, that comes from Europe, and on those frequencies at this time of day it's impossible. Well, not here a 5 megahertz or 4.8 megahertz station from Europe in broad daylight. There's too much daylight. If it would be darkness between Europe and me, yeah, I would also. So it's very, very interesting to go here. And of course, it updates all the time. So here it says next station in 26 minutes, HM01, 11635 AM. HM01 is a Cuban number station. So it's pretty interesting to check that out. Let's check out 13200 EAM. Yep. This is the U.S. Air Force.
Whiskey, 5, 7, Oscar, Charlie, Kilo, 7, Romeo, India, November, Alpha, Charlie. Alright, say it again.
So a EAM, Emergency Action Message from the U.S. Air Force, 13200 right now. You can try out also 15016. 11175 8982 if I'm not mistaken, and so on. So pretty nice. You should need Barrett, you should not need to install Java though, because I don't have Java on this machine. It's a JavaScript routine within Chrome, and should work without the need of Java, but maybe that will fix it also, because maybe it'll run into your Java. I don't recommend installing Java most of the time, because it has been in the last few years a security issue. If you don't update it all the time, it's kind of always a problem. So what else do we have? So okay, so this is a great website, Priom. It's perfect if you want to try stations from in number stations. It's iframes vaults. Okay, I thought it was JavaScript. So it's an iframes mode vaults. So that's why it's running on every. It should run in every browser that's compatible with that. So even McRoberts. You know what? Cuban, or here in North America, for example, the Cuban number station is of course the best, the easiest to hear. It comes from Cuba. It's close. But you know what? They're not. A lot of them are not that difficult to receive. The problem most of the time is that it is the frequency versus the time that you will be listening to the number station. That is the problem. Carol T 11175 is better for him. What else do we have here? Yeah, we shouldn't need. You don't need Java for this. Redelva 65, hello there. Nice to have you on board. Thanks for the info, Vols, by the way. Yeah, that's possible. Disassembled by security. Disabled by security. That's the what I think the most is happening. Why it's not working. What security software you're using on your computer, Barent Coops? I wonder if it's not your antivirus. Oh man. Hey William Helms, nice to have you here. Yeah, Firefox. It should work. You know, it works on pretty much every browser here that I've tried. I think it even works in. Trying to remember, but I think I got it working in Microsoft Edge with no problem either. There's something weird that it doesn't load on your computer. Give it time, because it takes that central window here takes a little bit of time to load and work. So give it time. When the page loads, let it do its loading of that frame, because it doesn't appear, immediately. So Prion.org, one of the great websites for number stations. It's one of the best resources out there for number stations. And for, I don't remember who, no beer today. White wine is the drink for today. So cheers, everyone. And so we'll continue, and we'll leave this one open, by the way. And we are going to the next one, and it is related to number stations also. And it's the Numbers and Oddities website, which is a very nice website also, because it has bulletins that are actually in newsletters that are in PDF. So let me just post that website to the chat. So Numbers and Oddities is a nice website, lots of information and recordings of number stations, which is also very, very interesting. So Numbers and Oddities right here, like this. And so Numbers and Oddities is another website. So I put them close because they are kind of linked together. So Priom is nice to have the schedules and what number stations are coming in. Numbersandoddities.nl, this is a great website with, of course, newsletters. So you have the newsletters for Numbers and Oddities, aka the Spooks newsletter. Latest issue, you click there, PDF download. Enigma 2000 newsletter, latest issue, and they have logs of different number stations, things, and all sorts of weird and odd transmissions on the shortwave bands. What's nice on this is that the information you get here actually goes beyond what Prion will give you. This will give you information of tons of little stations that actually are weird CW markers from Russia for some reason that exist in beacons that you're just wondering, maritime beacons or even military beacons from different parts of the world that you just don't really know what they are used for. There's tons of little things in here. And it's funny because I've noticed that when I post a video of a number station, I've noticed that a couple of times it shows up in the numbers in Oddities newsletter, and I see my name there saying, hey, he's got HN01 from Cuba or whatever. So it's like, oh, okay. It's okay, they're using the information, but it's really cool. They have a lot of recordings of different number stations, and this is the cool thing. And it's also cool because if you want to be very creeped out, you'll have even those weird transmissions that from the past. So you just, go to recordings, click on a language like English for now, and just give you guys an idea. Let me just lower the volume here. So we're on the page there. So it says, okay, here's a recording of the E11 Lincolnshire Poacher, E03, sorry. So you can click on it and so you got recordings of tons of number stations. A lot of them from the past, they are gone. You're not going to hear them on bands anymore. But it is a great website if you are interested in listening, even some to some of the old number stations. And there's so much creepy stuff in here to listen to. And it is a great resource for all of that. So recordings in different languages, English, German, Slavic, various languages, tones, Morse, everything is there. There's also files of databases of all sorts of designators, schedules, and software for decoding different things that are decodable. Pretty cool. Info of what's new, pictures of different things that might be of interest, of transmitter sites via, for example, Google Maps and everything. So it's very, very interesting, and lots of links to different websites that might be interesting to go to that are related to numbers and to all sorts of very bizarre transmissions on the shortwave band. So the numbers and oddities, and pretty much every month they have their newsletters that are updated, and you can check that out. So it's really, really cool. Do you like William Helms? Do you like University 20 on Android? Yeah, well, actually, by the browser it works actually works well. The problem on Android in touch devices is that a lot of these things are not made for touch, so it actually is a little difficult sometimes to, with the small screen, to really be able to choose something on the screen. But apart from that, it is a cool way of tuning in a station on shortwave via the U20 website on your phone when you're somewhere where you got no radio, or you just want to tune around the bands. It is kind of cool. So Mix says Priam okay on Firefox. Yeah, it should basically. And tested okay on Opera. So Steve P says got creators update yesterday. Just a tip for people with RTL SDRs: you will have to reload. Yeah, you have to reinstall the driver when you do. That is a great tip, Steve P. If you're on Windows 10 and you use a RTL SDR, you will have to use the Zadig driver again. You'll have to reinstall it because creators update, when it updates, it's kind of an install of Windows again. So what it does, it replaces the driver with Windows' own driver for that RTL. So you'll have to use Zadig to reinstall the driver for the RTL. Absolutely, Steve. Absolutely. Ghost World's got wine in hand. Cool. So David Harden says, I just joined, but I have to watch this stupid 5-minute commercial. Yeah, there's in 2018 is going to be cool because YouTube's supposed to, remove those really long ads that are annoying. It's like they're all going to be like 6 seconds. So they're going to install. They're going to be 6 seconds. I think 6 seconds is very reasonable. I find 6 seconds super cool. And you know what? It's quite all right to listen to for the length of the ad. It's not annoying and it goes through really quickly. I think it is good. And personally, I'm sorry, but ad blocks, I think they should not exist. I'm sorry, that's my opinion, but I am paid by ads. So personally, I don't think, I don't have any ad blocks on any computers here. And I think, I think it's, important to help creators out there. One of the reasons why AdSense is so crappy is because of the ad block shit, I'm sorry, but that does make me a little, I don't like ad blockers because, remember one thing, ads are what supports a lot of people, including me. I mean, if there were no ads on YouTube, I'm going to tell you one thing, I would maybe not be doing this. I would do it maybe less frequently because, part of it is revenue for me. It's my work. A lot of it is my work, basically. So it's kind of interesting. I did post the link already, Innovision 777. What you could do is maybe somebody could post some of the links again of what I just posted for him. But I will of course try to resume all of this into a video that I'll post, and you guys will have all of that. And but when the ads are going to be 6 seconds, I think it's going to be cool. 6 second ads are just cool. And if you do use an ad block, what I always say is, think of the people that are creating stuff and that get paid for that. Remember, if there were no ads on YouTube, on the internet, you would not have any content. And if you had content, you'd have to pay for it. It would be a very different game. And we got to remember that. Ad supports, but I do understand that some websites are totally out of control with ads. I am the first to be annoyed with all those ad pop-ups. The first to be annoyed with, autoplay on videos. Should not exist. I'm sorry. Autoplay on videos. If I want to see that damn video, I'll click on it. But autoplay videos, I'm not for it. But I am not for ad blockers. And if you do use an ad block, think of whitelisting or putting the people that you like the content into the whitelisting so that at least the ads go through for at least the content that you like. Okay, what else do we have here? Well, I don't see a problem with that, Ghost World. I actually, you know what? I wouldn't mind a 6 second ad on every video that you just can't skip, in exchange for no more 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minute videos. I think 6 seconds is just so quick. 6 seconds is that time that you clicked on it, you saw the ad and it was already gone, and it's like you're watching your video. So even if they were on every videos, I have no problem with that. I can tell you that. You can get YouTube Red also. That's another suggestion of Bobby. YouTube Red is also a way that you have no ads, and it does give me part of the revenue is from YouTube Red. I can see every month. Oh yeah, no, totally false. I agree also that when the ads are covering the page that you're looking at, or they're preventing you from seeing the content well, I totally agree that these ads should not be there. Some ads are totally annoying, and I am the first. I am the first to see that. So yeah, NoScript is more a JavaScript blocker, exactly, Ghost World. It doesn't block ads. It will block certain ads that might be made in that format, but not. It's not an ad blocker per se, you know. So there's a lot of stuff. What else do we have here? Oh, I do totally understand, Ghost World, that some well, actually, it's not the advertisers that go way out of overboard. It's the websites that actually are, you know, a lot of websites are not doing it well, and I'm the first to understand that totally. That and Duden, nice to have you here. Thanks for sharing again the links that we are talking about today. But you know, ads pay for content and pay for people like me. You know, it's pretty much my job. You know, so it's a little normal. I get out of control when people block ads because I'm like, you know, as I always say, if you're a contributor, if you gave me some money through PayPal or something, I have absolutely no problem that you'll never look at an ad if you've, you know, supported me in another way. That I don't care. But you know, ad blockers are a little pain in the butt for a lot of people. I understand why. Some people use them, because like we said, some websites really go overboard for sure. Hey David in Barcelona, nice to have you on board. VA2 XMS Petrol Case says I've been out of touch, so I need a reminder. What the live hangout schedule again? The live shows are Saturdays and Fridays. So today's Friday, June 16th. The next one will be Saturday, June 24th, and they alternate Fridays and Saturdays. And Wednesday is part 2 of my shortwave radio for beginners, basically, series, which will of course be on radios, shortwave radios. Randall Clance, nice to have you on board. And talking of advertisement, I'll post one right now as we're talking about that. Sorry guys. Donations through PayPal, if you wish to help me out, please. Helps me a lot, as it is my main job, and so it does help me continue if you wish to help me out. And of course, PayPal donations are accepted at the Yahoo email that you are here, and I'll post it in the chat. You can also become a patron at patreon.com/radio and computers. And just be careful how you choose your settings in Patreon. A few people been not a few. One person didn't set it up right, and they tried to get $1,000 out of their credit card, and now he's mad at me. But it's like not really my fault. It's just the fact that he didn't really choose it well. So if you're scared of that, well, you can use PayPal and just send me any amount. You know, any amount helps. And I want to thank everybody that has donated. You guys have been really cool, and it's very much welcome. Thank you, everyone. And you know, if you never donated and you love what I do, why not think of a little something to support me and help me continue doing what I do? So let's check it out here. 1652. So we'll have, if we look at the pre-om schedule, there's HM05 coming out soon. Let's bring back here. So Numbers and Oddities, another great website for those that want to have fun. So the next, in 5 minutes, there's HM0 on 11635. 11635. And I just want to add also, because it happened to a couple of people, if you make a mistake in the donation and instead of, you know, $5, you send $50, don't worry. Just send me a little email or message. Say, hey, I wanted to send 5 and I sent you 50. Don't worry about it. I'll refund you the amount that was overboard. You can trust me on that. Okay. So 11635. We're gonna put it on here. 11635, and we'll see if we can hear HM01 come up at some point. Is there the signal? Yeah, there's a carrier, so I guess number station's coming up. And as we're waiting for that, we're going to continue on with our websites. Okay, one that is, talking about ads, it's a little bit like an ad, but, it also has some information, and it's dxing.com. Now, this, I gotta say, and I will tell you, is, of course, kind of a helpful website for hobbyists, but it is maintained by Universal Radio, so, of course, it is kind of, yes, we're helping you out with some information of what's for the hobby and the radio hobbyist and the web resources, some news of all sorts of little things that are happening. But I just want to say that, it is Universal Radio that is hosting this page. But it's, a nice little web page with a little bit of information. If you're looking for information on all sorts of topics, there's on the website, on the left side, a newsroom, editorial, e-letters. They have links to all sorts of interesting stuff on the internet. There's radio basic web pages and radio basics. If you're learning shortwave, you're learning shortwave radio. It's very important to try to understand and learn a little bit what shortwave is about. Shortwave radio links of all sorts. So check it out, dxing.com, simple page, some interesting information. dxing.com is another interesting little web page, but of course, mostly basic information. And once again, it is maintained by Universal Radio, so it's kind of a page that's there to also kind of, and I have no problem with that, kind of tell you, that they exist and that they sell radios, but, some basic information, it's kind of cool. Okay, next page is the one that I've actually talked about a lot, and it's if you want to hear and listen to a whole host of interval signals, intervalsignals.net is amazing. If you want to get nostalgic of the past, all I'm going to say, go here and start listening to interval signals from stations in the 70s or 80s, and you're just going to, for a moment there, you're just going to want to take out that QSL card collection of yours and start looking at those old QSLs. Interval signals online as almost, not totally, but I would say 95% of every interval signal from a broadcaster that ever has broadcast on shortwave and medium wave. It is a great resource, and it's a great place to, of course, listen to interval signals. So intervalsignals.net. Once again, I will be just going to intervalsignals.net. I will post the link like this, and here we go. Intervalsignals.net. Once again, you're gonna get nostalgic if you get here, because this is really cool. So for example, you go on the left side and it says, okay, different stations. Say you want to listen to Radio Tirana, Albania, but the old interval signals from the 80s. Then you go to Albania on the left side, and then you go to Radio Tirana external service. Okay, here you got one, vintage 1983. And this one has actually jamming from Russian, so it's, for those that are listening, is that you're gonna kind of find it funny to hear that. So when you click on it, it downloads a little file, an M3U, which is kind of a streaming MP3 if you want. Very harsh interval signal in the 80s. And for example, you want to compare that to Radio Tirana, but the external service that is now today, the interval signal of the external service today. Well, of course, you can click on, I believe, this one, and click. Will they have that interval signal? Oh, it's yeah, I think it is. So, you can check out old interval signals of some of these stations that were in the communist era and today. You can listen to long gone stations, interval signal. And by the way, Priam was saying that HM01, the Cuban lady, was on around this time. And look at that, Cuban lady. It's not very strong, but it's there. A little weak, but it's there. Number station, the accumulated number station is there. XPA active. Okay, let's check it out. What was the frequency for the XPA2? It was 16167. Let's check it out. 16167, 16167. Upper sideband. Do not hear 16167, but we will check it. The next one is 14663 in 10 and 20 minutes. So we'll try 14663 and leave it there. 14663. Let's see if we can hear that one later on the upper sideband. So interval signals, as we were here. Amazing resource for any interval signal from the times past and today. Great website. And I can tell you one thing. You will, if you've been listening to shortwave for a long time, I can tell you you will get nostalgic listening to old interval signals from the past. That I can guarantee. So it's a great website, great resource. This is always a website I never have very far when I feel like listening to some old-time interval signals and everything. Or see the evolution of an interval signal of different stations, because that is also something that happens very often, is that a station is still in the air, but they had, 4 or 5 different interval signals from, the past and today. And you want to listen to some that maybe you never heard because of, they were in the 50s or 60s and you weren't there. And up to the evolution of their interval signals with up to today, for example, which is kind of cool. Hey, Mad Radio DXer, nice to have you here. David Arden, I did order a long time ago some, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, my Radio Shack Pro 92 comes from Universal Radio that I bought in the 90s. So amazing. So it's really cool. Yeah, Cuban ladies on the air, 11635. Hey, Casey Red Dragon, nice to have you here. And Richard says that XPA sending a message. Cool. Okay, so interval signals online on intervalsignals.net. Great resource for listening to for interval signals of all kinds. And they do have a lot of interval signals. Like I said, probably 95% of the interval signals out there. And just be careful on some countries. You will have to, sometimes go into a different section that is, for example, there's a section that's going to be, for vintage stuff from the old times within the page. So if you don't see what you're trying to find, for example, Russia has that. If you go into the Russian page, you'll see that there's one for vintage, and then you'll see Radio Moscow from the old times and stuff like that. Same for Germany, I think. You have the vintage one, like for Radio Berlin International. It's pretty cool stuff. One page that's very simple but very complete in the information that you can get in two ways. worldofradio.com. Worldofradio.com is Glenn Hauser's one-stop for all sorts of information. So worldofradio.com. I'm just going to post the link in the chat. So Glenn Hauser, long time shortwave radio enthusiast, long time running a DX show called World of Radio. Also has a lot of information on the web. Two things that are interesting for me here, but there's a lot of stuff because he has links to a lot of external pages that might have really interesting content for any shortwave radio enthusiast, basically. And first of all, you have the current audio. So if you want to listen to World of Radio's audio, he always has available the download that you can listen to. So here he has the one from this week, June 14th, in MP3. You can download or stream it. And I like to use this page, by the way, for when I'm on with my mobile phone and with my Galaxy S7. I'm somewhere and I want to listen to some to World of Radio. I've missed the episode of this week. I try to listen every week. It's a very interesting, informative show Glenn Hauser has with World of Radio. So I often stream it on my phone if I don't hear it on shortwave. So you can actually stream it and listen to it on your computer, on your PC, everywhere. So of course, the current audio. You have the schedule, by the way, if you want to know when the next broadcast of World of Radio is coming. So for example, we're Friday today. Let's check it out. Friday. So Friday at 2200, there's a radio mainstream. Okay, Friday, 2330, WBCQ 9330. So, and it gives you all the different schedules. Also, what is extremely interesting that I often take a look at is a little bit down here. You have the latest DX Listening Digest. And this is a very informative text file. It's compiled by Glenn Hauser and updated regularly. This one is from June 7th. It's really information of everything. Everything that is interesting in what's happening. The latest news of the shortwave bands of every station, everything that's of interest. It is by country, so alphabetical order countries. So here you see, for example, Argentina, and as you go, you have all the countries, all the latest news, everything that's happening, all the anomalies, as he calls them, which is unusual events, unusual things happening. I am mentioned, by the way, very often in that DX Listening Digest because I sometimes post information on the DX Listening Digest Yahoo group, and sometimes they'll pick that up and put it in the DX Listening Digest. So it happens very often that my name is mentioned there. It is a nice place, and of course you have all the older. If you want to listen to an old World of Radio broadcast from 10 years ago, it's here. If you want to listen, if you want to see an old content from a DX Listening Digest from 5 years ago, it's there. And of course, links to useful and interesting websites, including schedules, including frequency lists of all sorts, programming lists, and everything. Great stop. Very simple page, but very complete, and what you would use in shortwave for information. That's pretty much what I would say. So basically, that is a nice page, Glenn Hauser's World of Radio, and a nice place if you can, if you've missed the World of Radio show, you can listen to the audio from this his website. So take a look at it, worldofradio.com, and Glenn Hauser's excellent show. Also, always interesting. I've always find it interesting to listen to Walter Radio every week. Lots of very, very interesting information and very in-depth. The guy is extremely focused on everything and has a lot of knowledge, extended knowledge, I would say, of even the more, I would say the details of each station and each little thing, to a point where you will see, something that might not be okay or right or whatever. It's just amazing. The guy is dedicated to shortwave, I can tell you that. Okay, and Mike Belgium, hello there. Nice to have you on board. And thank you for nice comments. Says, thanks for your YouTube channel and your sharing of the hobby. Well, thank you very much, Mike Belgium. Very nice to have you on board. Totar 15016 was not a number station. It's what we call an EAM, emergency action message, and it might sound, I agree, it might sound like a number station, but it's from the U.S. Air Force, by the way. And Totar is listening to 15580, Voice of America English, which comes in usually quite well. Man Radio DXer says, Joe, how are the ESCIP signals at your QTH? Over here I had Egypt, Libya, Russia on FM, even a TV carrier appeared on the FM band, maybe Armenia, Russia, which I had never heard before. I can tell you, amazing ESCIP here. Last week I've heard my first signal on 50 megahertz from Brazil, which I was totally amazed, by the way. And also, almost all week this week, I could hear some signals on 50 megahertz. And you know what? I have not had I'm not much of an FM band DXer, so I've not had that, pick up your radio and try to DX some FM signals. Maybe I should. Next time I hear 50 megahertz open, I think I'm going to pick up my super radio, or my Grundig G5 also is pretty good for that, and try to get it, try to listen. What the hell was that? I hear something, I don't know what that is. What the hell is that? Sorry, guys. Okay, that's my phone. Okay. Wow, I had never heard that before. It's a call on my phone. Wow, I've never heard of that. Yeah, they're spying on me. Too much, number station stuff. They're spying on me now. Help, somebody's gonna get me soon. Oh, God. Okay, back to our little shortwave show here. Sorry, guys, about that. I'm just gonna put the mute on the phone here so that there's no more. Okay, yeah, it was like a Facebook call. I did not recognize that because I never get some kind of Facebook call usually. So it was like a Facebook call for sure. So, hey there, LN321. Nice to have you here. Yeah, it was very weird, hey? Many congrats. Who knows, maybe a European ham might make it on 6 meters. Well, one of the things that amazed me, by the way, of that 6 meter call sign is from Brazil, is that there were hams making contacts on JT65 with Northern Ireland and also with Japan, and I was like, really, that kind of interesting. So kind of cool. David Arden says, FMDXing is surprisingly fun. I've used to live south of Miami and will listen to all kinds of 10-watt non-commercial stations. Cool. Yeah, it's some kind of Facebook Messenger phone call or weird. Very, very, very weird. Hey, come on. ADX. What the? Ken is looking at me like, what do you want? Everybody wants to see you. Come on. Get that. And here he is. Mr. Paul the Cat, to your enjoyment, everybody. Look here. Yeah. Look at that, kitty cat. Hey. You're live on the internet, and I know you don't care and don't understand that, but everybody wants to see you. Okay, so our Paul the cat, or DX the cat, Paul the mascot, is official mascot of pretty much every YouTube channel I own. And so nice to have you here. What else do we have? So yeah, I've never really done a lot of FMDXing, I gotta say, and I hear and I see by the way, one of the CIDX members is a very big fan of FMDXing, and I look at what he DXs with his car radio, and I'm like, wow, maybe I should get into it a little more. What's the name of Canada's intelligence agency? It's I believe it's what they call the SCIS, which is, don't ask me to give each letter what it is. It's like the service, the security, and whatever. I'm trying to remember the name in English, but somebody can probably post it. Maybe Scotty Tier 6. Yeah, working for the enemy. Hey, Neil Braden from Dublin, Ireland. Nice to have you on board as we're reviewing some websites. So eSkip coming from both directions. Yes, the Mad Radio DXer. I was totally amazed. Yes, I got the microphone, Bobby, but I've got a little issue with it that I'm trying to figure out. So hope that maybe by the next show, it's going to be going to be live. So I need a beer company sponsor. Yeah, Parrot, I do. So nice to have everybody here. Hey, DD2DR Klaus from Germany. Nice to have you here. No problem. There's still a lot of information. We have tons of tabs left open to continue watching all the different websites that I want to talk about today. As we are actually, we're an hour and 15 minutes into the show. This is a shortwave radio show coming to you from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And basically today we are reviewing some of the interesting websites that I find are useful for any, shortwave listener, amateur radio operator. And by the way, I want to thank, wait. Saw something a little earlier. Ralph Bender, that's creating a text file that he's sharing with the websites that I'm talking about today. So thank you very much for doing that, by the way. Very, very cool. Canadian Security Intelligence Service, yeah, something like that. I think that's the, I have it in French, but I never know the, So, very, very amazing. Basically, very, very amazing. When Paul holds his breath, does he turn invisible? I wonder. Poor guy, I don't know what happened this morning. It's the first time I see this. He was like choking on something, but not a furball or anything. It was like choking on I don't know what, and he was really, I didn't know what to do. And at some point, it kind of, he got up and it seems to pass and go away. So, poor little guy. I was like, what do I do? I can't call 911 for a cat. Yeah, 911, my cat is sick. Can you come and pick him up? Hey, Myro from Finland. Nice to have you on board. Can I explain APRS? I'm not the right person to explain it very well. But I will actually, what I'll do is I'll try to learn a little more about it, and we'll talk about it. I'll keep that in a note of my knowledge that I need to get. Yeah, Bobby. So WRMI got it right last night. Everything was okay after 3 days. Yeah, it was so weird because I think it was at least 2 times this week that I tried to listen to Argentina. I tried to listen to Ukraine and Slovakia. And all I got was either music or some Spanish language broadcast, or I don't know if their transmissions got messed up or something, but wow. So, yeah, there's not a lot of empty frequency channels here in Montreal. I'm going to tell you that. The band is crowded here. But my Granic G5 is amazing for FMDXing, and it's one of the favorites, I think, for I think it's one of the favorites for FMDXing. I also have a Super Radio 3, but you know what? I think my Redneck G5 is like way better in FM than my Super Radio 3. Vault says, Gilles, admit you wanted to listen to Brother Stare. Shh, please, Vault, don't. You know, I told you to keep it quiet on that. Okay, Brother Stare, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week is all I want. So, okay, what else do we have? So, Mandareader DXer says APRS, real-time packet message service, very short. There's a 2-meter carrier here for local hams. Yeah, I think there's something here. I think it's on 144 in Montreal. APRS is on 144. 144. I don't remember the frequency. 390, I think. XPA2, maybe on 14663 in a few seconds. We'll see if we can hear it or not. I heard it last time, so we're on 14663. I'm going to check the frequency, and yep, upper sideband. We'll see if we hear anything from XPA2 for sure. Bidirectional antennas that will do 8 and 9 megahertz. I don't know if you and pretty much any type of antenna can. What do you want to listen to particularly? Oh, what is it doing there? I think it's there, but very weak. Very, very, very weak. I hear it barely. Propagation is not fantastic today, I can tell you. Last time I heard it. Okay. For weather facts, you know, yeah, omnidirectional antenna made for the correct wavelength, or some kind of dipole. You could do a dipole that is, you know, created for 8-9 megahertz resonance, something like that. Maybe that could be interesting. So, okay, let's continue on with our websites here. Let's take a look at another one, which is HF Underground, which is the number one place that you should go to check out pirate station activity. And it is very, very, very cool for that. So, I'm sorry, Kitty, but I have to type a little bit here. And I know you're getting annoyed because I'm not taking care of you. But you know I'm working, right? To pay all that food that you actually eat every day. So HF Underground is here. So this is, if you are into pirate radio broadcasts, KC Red Dragon, just going to say a beverage antenna is not good for shortwave. It's a beverage is mostly used for very, very low frequencies, more like medium wave or long wave DXing. That would probably be much more of interest. A dipole would be better for 8 or 9 megahertz and take less space than a beverage. And you'd be surprised at just a long wire if you don't have, you know. Yeah, Jerry, hello there. So I found it just funny when I looked at that page and I said, yeah, that's the first thing everybody's going to see. A Morse code coffee mug for $14. So HF Underground has, let's go down below, really cool blogs for pirate activity. So for example, Shortwave Pirate logins for North American pirates. I would click there. And here, you will have all the announcements of what's happening right now. So, you see here, April 17, 1928. Okay, let's see. Lukewarm Radio Shortwave, 6940 was logged. Some of this information today at 1828, last post. So, all the pirate stations that are active right now are usually logged here. So you're wondering okay, what's that station? What's that pirate station right now? You click either on the shortwave pirate for North America. There's European pirate aboard. There's medium wave free radio, FM free radio, HF beacons and everything, spy numbers. There's a lot of information in these boards. The HF Underground is cool for that. There's almost all the information you need for pirate radio activity. It is one of the great resources for any pirate enthusiast, because you'll know when something is on. So you tune in a pirate station, you're wondering what is that station. First, I don't even think about it. If I tune a pirate station, I want to know, did somebody log it? Does somebody know already what station that is? I just go to hfunderground.com and go to the shortwave pirate logs, and you know what? You will see probably someone already posted the information. Of course, you can basically create an account here and participate. So if there's nothing yet, you can say, oh, okay, I'm going to be the first to post information about a pirate station that's on right now, which is kind of cool. So check it out. HF the Underground is the source for pirate radio activity. Knowing exactly what's on the air is very, very, very useful. And it's fun because sometimes, you have a pirate station, it's a little weak, and even though pirate station, gave out its call sign a few times, you're like, okay, I just can't, I don't understand what it is. Well, you go here and somebody's going to say, oh, this is undercover radio. It's like, oh, okay, undercover radio is on right now. Also, if you are searching for pirates, well, it's cool because pirates, if you go here, you'll see the latest activity on pirates, and you can try and see, oh, okay, people are, listening to a pirate on, 6935. I'm going to go and check it out, So it's really very, very interesting for that. So HF Underground, great resource for pirate radio activity. That's for sure. One newsletter that I've been I remember this is, I think, one of the first websites ever that I've actually found on the internet when I had my first internet connection. The Top News Worldwide DX Club Top News by Wolfgang Büchel, very well-known DXer from Germany. He has every week the BCDX, which is basically a DX bulletin that has tons of information. It is a little bit in the same, I'd say it's made in the same kind of way of the World of Radio page, where you get the DX Listening Digest. But it has different information. So there's a lot of stuff in here by alphabetical order once again. All sorts of information of different broadcasters, different things on the shortwave bands. It is text, mostly text only. Half of it in German, half of it in English, but you can use, of course, the Google Translate if you want to translate everything. So it is very, very interesting. There's a lot of information in here. You know what this is? It says, I think it says here, since it's there since July 1st, 1996. So one of the first shortwave websites, and actually it hasn't really changed much from 1996 to now. Still looks pretty much the same. But what's important here is the information in the page. So you get lots of DX info. It is interesting listening because sometimes it will actually give you some information of all sorts of shortwave stuff that's actually happening. So great website, and it's the www.dxc.de. I'm just gonna give you the link to this one also. The top news from the Worldwide DX Club. And of course, if you go to the main page, you will have also our other information. But and it's funny because it does resemble a website from like 1990s that has not really updated much over the years, but it is of interest if you want to learn more. www.dxc.de, and it has all of the cool information basically. So another great place for DX news of all sorts, and really nice to be here. This is really one of the first websites ever, I gotta tell you that. So what else do we have here? Tier 6. Lightning arresters can be a big deal with very large antennas. What are your thoughts? Lightning arresters are protect to some point, but you know what? For antennas, especially when you have antennas that are very long, a beverage, just the sheer static electricity that can build up with the wind and the snow and the rain, well, mostly the wind and the snow, is just amazing. It's very difficult to fix that, I can tell you that. Okay, hey Sextus, nice to have you here, and happy that you are here live, I can tell you, really cool. Okay, another website. And this one is, okay, I'll tell you why I included this one, the ADDX website. It is in German, but you can use, of course, Google Translate to put in English. Is because what I like about this website, okay, and I'll tell you why, is under the service on the left side, the first one under service is the schedules of shortwave broadcasters. And it has schedules in every language that you desire. So if you speak a specific language, you'll have schedules, shortwave transmissions that exist in that language. So I speak French and English, so of course I listen to both transmissions. So of course you can click here English, and then click the little, get to the page with the English list of transmissions. And you'll say, well, okay, but why is it so interesting for you for this one? Well, because if you have like the list of all the frequencies and transmissions from EIBI, it's not really printable. It's way too long of a list. You're gonna waste 276 pages with your printer. This is cool because I like English and I like French transmissions. So what I'll do is they are updated quite regularly. Right now, the latest update is 11 June 2016. So what you do is you click, you're right, Franzdeutsch, whatever is French. I'll click here and I'll have the French language transmissions also. And because these are much smaller in length, well, what is interesting is, say you want to go somewhere in DX or listen to shortwave. Well, I'm just going to show you guys here, because I've printed them prior to the show. You can actually, with just a few pages, have your favorite transmissions in French or in English that are in, easy to use format. And that means that you go to somewhere to DX. Well, you have your English here, in my case, English and French transmissions. The English took 10 pages and the French took 3 pages. So it's not a lot of pages for your favorite shortwave schedules. And of course, you have, you go somewhere, you have no technology. Well, you got your pages, which is kind of cool, and it's easy to bring along. And that's why I like this website, is if I want to have a printout of shortwave transmissions, this is cool because it doesn't take a lot of pages. If you go on EIBI space and you print all of it, it's way too big. It's like, unmanageable. I remember printing once the EIBI space list. I think it took like 95 pages. And it's like, you got this thick book. And it's, half of it you don't use. So that's why I like this website. I will just print out the languages that I listen to. Doesn't take a lot of pages, doesn't take a lot of ink, and you've got your schedules at least. So that's why, and it is the interesting part also because it has the transmissions, all the AJ Watterson 69. Nice to have you on board. And so I'll try to get it a little later if I can. So basically, it's cool because you can choose your language. So for example, here you only want the transmissions in Spanish. You can click Spanish and click, and you have all the Spanish language transmissions on shortwave, all resumed into one nice little place. So that's why I like this web page. For the printout with just a few pages, it's really nice. And it's kind of cool. You go somewhere, you bring your radio, you bring your pack of your pages, and you're like, okay, you'll go and okay, 2130. So you'll go to the 2130 UT and check out what stations are broadcasting, what frequencies. It's cool. It's handy, and you don't have to basically bring any technology with you to get schedules, or if you can't bring technology with you, or you don't have the technology with you, you've got your schedules anyway, so you can compare and try to find what stations are on the air. It's very nice. Oh man, the Smith Corona typewriter. I still remember when I bought one of those in the 80s for, I don't remember, like $200 or something, and it was like the state-of-the-art thing. So that's also a thing that could be a great idea that Ralph Bender is actually saying right now. Ralph Bender says, I print such lists as PDFs so I can send it to my smartphone for offline using. That is also a fantastic idea. You can actually print it as a PDF file, and it will actually open up in anything. Any technology will open a PDF, smartphone, tablet of any kind, and that's cool also for that. 14466. Not hearing it right now, but I do think that there was around that frequency there's radio teletype usually, if I'm not mistaken. Matthew Kelleher says, I download the EIBI schedule, load it into a spreadsheet, manage things that way. If I'm out in the field, I just go to the site on my phone and search it through the browser. So there's different things that we can do, like Matt does that. Ralph Bender has PDF. I like the paper for zero technology. You don't feel like bringing anything with you. You can actually have some of these easily used. And if you have a friend of yours, somebody's listening to shortwave, and you want to share, okay, here's the shortwave schedules in English. Check that out, the time of UTC, and easy. So it all depends. We all have our own way of handling that. Of course, when I go to a DXpedition, I'll bring my smartphone and I'll bring my Windows tablet, and of course, I'll share the internet through my smartphone, and of course, I'll have access to EIBI, which is very useful in the case where I am searching for what transmission I'm listening to, and of course, it's much more useful. But just for the I don't want to use the technology. I don't want to start up my computer just to see what's on right now. I can just take my list, and in my case, my printouts are so cheap that I can easily print pretty much everything. In my case, I use a laser printer that I actually refill the ink, the toner myself. So these pages cost nothing to print for me, and of course, it's not necessarily for everybody, because if you have an inkjet printer, things like that, of course, now it might cost you a little more to print these, so you might want to use technology instead. So we all have our way of dealing with that. Yes, it's definitely. I hear it now. 14465 a little bit This is radio teletype, for sure. Yeah, different strokes for different folks, exactly. You know, and it's cool because you know we all have our own way of using our technology to do the things, you know, that we need, and you know, have these frequency lists easy and handy. So in continuing with our list of frequencies, and by the way, I'll just do a little bit of promotion here. If you want to help me out and like my shows, don't forget donations are accepted through PayPal at the Yahoo email you see here, and of course I will once again share it on the chat. So PayPal donations are accepted. They help me a lot in continuing what I do. If you enjoy the content, if you enjoy the live shows, the videos, it is extremely useful for me, and I want to thank you all for all of those that have donated yet. If you have not yet, why not think about it? If you like what I do, if you're here all the time, it might be an interesting idea. You can also go through patreon.com/radioandcomputers. Just be careful how you set it up to not have more money than should taken off your credit card or anything. But of course, PayPal donations at the Yahoo email you see here. That's easy. You don't even need a credit card with PayPal. You can just link PayPal accounts to your checking account, and any amount helps. Please don't worry about it. You know, if some people sometimes say, you know, well, you know, I give you this, but a little shy because it's a small amount. It's like, no, don't worry about it. Every amount helps, and it helps me tremendously. And I want to thank everybody for supporting everything I do. It's very, very welcome. Okay, more websites. Now we'll go to Global Tuners. Global Tuners, another cool website. What's Global Tuners? Global Tuners has two sides to it. You can create a free account. You can also have a paid account. Once you have your accounts, you have the possibility to tune some shortwave receivers from around the world. It's one of the nice websites that you can go to. So Global Tuners has some different, of course, online receivers that you can actually tune from everywhere. I use that quite regularly, and it is one of the, you know, there are many others, and actually I'll have another one that I'll talk about. There are others, but it's one of the great websites also that you can tune in to shortwave radios. So you just choose a radio, for example. One that I do use, two that I use a lot here. One is the Hong Kong receiver. That is one of my favorites. So if I want to listen to, stations that I know I won't hear over here, but I might hear in Asia, I will actually, use the Hong Kong receiver. One that is very, very good also here is the, there's one in Italy, in Crema, Italy, which is also a very, very nice receiver. If I want to hear some European stuff, maybe that I don't get on U20, it's kind of cool to go to this website. So globaltuners.com. Once again, I will post the link to globaltuners.com. So for those that want to have the link, Global Tuners, one of the websites I actually use regularly. Like I said, there's a host of others that people use, but this is one that's also interesting to check out. And just be courteous, because some people here sometimes on Global Tuners are a little dumb and just like, don't care if anybody else is listening. If you see somebody else listening, please have the courtesy to just ask, can I tune the receiver, please? And most of the time, 90% of the time, they're going to say, yeah, sure, go ahead. So there's amazing receivers in here, for sure. Hey there, Richard Tribble. Nice to have you on board, as usual. And so Global Tuners, great little place where you can tune the world on shortwave with different countries, and you choose your country, you choose a receiver, and tune around. Pretty interesting. Some of them are not that great. It depends on the receiver. Some receivers are not as good as others. It all depends. But it's kind of fun sometimes to tune around from somewhere else. So that's also something pretty cool. Sorry. So Matthew Kelleher says the Hong Kong receiver is great. It's the only one I've gotten a good copy of Chinese robot stations. You know, it's one of the only ones I've got KNLS from Alaska on, actually, when it's broadcasting in English. So I use it for that sometimes, just because, you know, just to tune officially a shortwave radio to listen to KNLS, which doesn't really make it here in the East Coast in Montreal. So Casey Red Dragon says websdr.org is a good website. Yeah, that's where you also have websdr.org, and we'll put it here. Websdr.org. And let's show it. This web page. That's where you've got the University of Twente receiver. What I don't like of the WebSDR page, and I'll tell you guys the main reason, a lot of what I don't like of this page, there's a lack of a lot of receivers that get, you know, full coverage of the shortwave bands. And I'll actually show you guys a different website that is actually good for shortwave. It's sdr.hu. This one has a lot of shortwave radios. They are all based on the KiwiSDR. They are very cool. It's probably, you know, if you want to have one of the biggest choices of shortwave receivers around the world, it's based on, of course, like I said, on the KiwiSDR with like Raspberry Pis and stuff like that. SDR.hu is another great one. So here you can listen, for example, the first one up there, the SK3W Sweden receiver. There's another one here, Italy, and so on, and the list goes on. There's more and more added all the time, and I actually talked about it in a video a couple of weeks ago. And this is one of the cool websites for listening to shortwave via software-defined receivers. So it's sdr.hu. And I'll post a link here too. Copy. So this is an amazing website. One little drawback to remember about this one is that if you want to listen, remember that most of these receivers have 4 maximum users at the same time. So some of them are a little popular and might be a little difficult to get to. But you know what? It's another amazing website with KiwiSDRs. So you click, for example, if I click Sweden here, it's going to bring me to, you know, one of this receiver in Sweden. And now the interface here. Now you hear music, and here you go, music coming up. This is the waterfall. I'm just gonna lower or cut the noise a little bit. So you have, of course, your waterfall and everything. You got your frequency that you can tune in here. So if I want to try, for example, maybe I want to try a time signal station, like, or let's try 4996 for the RMW Moscow time signal. Put CW here, and do I hear something? Yep, that's the Moscow time signal, RWM. Received from Sweden. So this is really cool. If I try 10,000, 10000 in AM mode. There's something very weak that's talking, and I can hear 9996 RWM also. CW. So it's kind of cool. So as you see, there's a lot of receivers that you can tune from around the world. They all use KiwiSDR. Like I said, 4 connections maximum each. They're amazing, amazing to listen to. And yeah, that's a limit. It's limited by the hardware, unfortunately. But you know, it's true that it would be so fantastic that all of these would be like U20, where it's like there's like almost virtually an almost unlimited you know, number of connections on the receiver, and that is one of the amazing things. Not counting that U20 is actually so sensitive. It's just so amazing what you actually get. Why the hell is somebody ringing my doorbell right now? Okay, just wondering here. There's no trucks, no nothing. So the hell with it. I'm not going down to answer the doorbell. Sorry, guys. Probably some you know, some Jehovah's Witness or something. I don't know. Who cares? So, okay. What else do we have here? So what do we have here? So SDR.hu, another great website. Another great website. Probably the cops. They're here to get me now. So yeah, the RCMP. Yeah, because I was listening to the number stations earlier. You know, I just want to check out quickly because one of the things that I know is I'm waiting for a couple of packages just to make sure that it's not that, but I don't see any trucks. So I'm pretty sure there's like nothing really interesting. So sorry guys. No, I don't think anyways, the postal, I think the postal service already passed here, so I don't see what else I could have. Okay, you are watching the live shortwave show from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. I want to thank everybody that is joining in and having fun. We are, of course, taking a look at some websites of interest, of course, and hope that everybody is finding it cool. Mike Belgium, nice cat. What antenna for 6 meter are you using or recommending? I actually am sorry for the late response. I'm actually listening to 6 meters with a vertical mobile antenna, Mike. It's what I use, and I now will actually maybe replace it with a disc cone. I've got the disc cone in the back now. I just need a PVC pipe to set it up. It's all that's missing, and so I think it's gonna be cool to try out that disc cone and compare it with the mobile vertical also. Okay, what else do we have? Of course, 2 resources for anybody that listens to amateur radio stations. Okay, first one is QRZCQ.com, and the second one is QRZ.com, and I'll actually tell you guys what's different between both of these. So let me just give you guys QRZ.com website, which is this one. Here we go, QRZ.com. No, I can't use a broomstick, Jerry. It's the way it's made. I could not. It's not feasible to put a broomstick or anything. I really will need a PVC pipe or something like that to hold it because it's of the way that it's been that it's constructed. QRZCQ.com. Another one, and a broomstick would not be long enough anyways to go above roof level for me here. I need a much longer pole than that. So I'm gonna get something like a PVC pipe of some sort. Okay. So 2 websites, QRZ.com and QRZCQ.com. And why? Well, these are very useful when you listen to ham radio operators. So, you know, sometimes you go to the ham bands and you start listening to some, you know, amateurs, and you're wondering, okay, amateur stations, you know, and
So I finally managed to get off the expressway and come the back road. So I'm gonna get myself a shower and then come back and play with the radio here. Going on SB9KR from 88Z. SB9KR here. I'm supposed to take those USBs.
so anyway, so you hear amateur radio operators, and then you give a call sign. So say, for example, that you know, the guy says, okay, I'm W1AW, which is the RARL station. You'll just enter the call sign on the left side, press enter, and you will have access to all the information of a specific amateur radio station. And you will, of course, have details. Some have nice pictures of all sorts. Some have, so here the equipment. This is the equipment at W1AW. Amazing when you look at that. And all the information and stuff that's here. So it's cool for that because you know what station, where the station, the ham station is located, for sure. But there's one flaw. It's limited to 25 searches. After 25 searches, it will tell you you've done your maximum searches for the day, unless you pay a subscription fee. So, you know, when you're in a contest weekend and there's like stations everywhere, of course, the 25 limit, you reach that really fast. So there's an alternative that I will actually use when I do that, and it's go to QRZCQ.com. So if I max out on my searches on the QRZ.com website, I'll continue on QRZCQ.com. And if I do the same search, the 1AW, and here we go, you have the information of the stations and everything. But I've got to say, QRZ.com is a much more complete website. QRZ.com actually has much more information on everything of every amateur station. So that's very interesting because there's so many more details, pictures and everything, where you know, QRZCQ is much more basic, but at least you know where they are. One of the added interesting bonus, although QRZ.com does it also, this one is smack on the page. When you actually enter a station, it's put smack on the map here where it's located, and that's kind of cool. Of course, on QRZ.com you can also do it. If you go on QRZ.com, you can go on details, and then on the right side here you can say show map, and now it's going to show you where it is. And if you zoom out, for example, you can say, okay, I'm listening to W1AW, here's the map, and here's Montreal, so I'm listening to this distance here. So it's kind of cool, you know. So QRZ.com, my number one choice because of all the information you get of every amateur radio operator. But if you run out of your 25 searches, go to QRZCQ.com, and there you'll be able to, of course, get continue searching, even though there's not as much information on each amateur station. So if you do listen to the amateur bands, lots of stuff. And of course, other little things, the database, there's news, there's forums, all sorts of information about upcoming events on the amateur radio side. And by the way, thanks for reminding me, Casey Red Dragon, because next week is the Field Day weekend, which is a very cool event where Field Day is basically, using your amateur radio knowledge to have bare bones operation. You're not allowed to run on AC power from your home. You gotta kind of set it up as if it was an emergency situation. It's a very fun event. It's a fun event also to show the capabilities of amateur radio in emergency situations. And it happens so next week, Saturday and Sunday, Field Day. Thanks for reminding me, Casey Red Dragon. So it'll be around on all amateur bands, and it's kind of cool to listen to. So yes, field is an amateur radio thing, Jay Watterson, but it's fun to listen to. You can actually listen to it. So that's cool for that. Michael Bott says a bit early for Radio New Zealand International on 13840. Maybe it's an indication of what conditions will be like later. So 13840. I'll try it. I did hear a little bit about it the other time. I'll try it right now. 13840. So I have a very slight carrier. Very, very weak. Very, very weak. But it is there. 13840. Is that noise of some kind of data on 14370? 14370. Oh, that is it's a kind of radar. It's actually much wider than just that frequency. If I zoom in here, it's actually from you can spot it from about 14360 to 14380. It's a big 20 kilohertz wide. So this is it's a buzzing. It's some kind of a radar, over the horizon radar. The kind of buzzing that's there. So it's really a kind of radar, basically. So really nice. Okay, William Halkan says I'll be going to Maine for field day. Cool. Hey, Bullfrog89, nice to have you here. KD2CXU checking in from the US. Side of the St. Lawrence. Nice to have you here near Kingston, Ontario. Pretty cool. We'll be operating most bands, William says. Cool. Richard says 10715. Let's check that out here. 10715 for HM01. So Cuban numbers from the Cuban number lady, 10715 right now. So yep, over the horizon radar, pretty much. What else do we have here? Richard VA2RHT. Joey D, nice to have you on board as usual. SG2 East Nebraska says 13840. Goosehead. Okay. I've had, by the way, talking of New Zealand, I've had a lot of difficulty listening to Radio New Zealand 15720 in the evening. It's not really been coming in very well lately, which is surprising. It's usually my summer signal. It's very, very... Yes, it's the Cuban Lotto numbers, Patrick. And we've got a winner. We got a winner. What is WSPR? Whisper is a mode, a very, very... It's a very... It's one of the great modes to listen to in very high noise and very low signal environments. It's very interesting. Hey Mohammed Hali, nice to have you here. Arabic stations, of course, there's a lot of Arabic stations. Let's try one that maybe is on right now. 11820. Yeah, Saudi Arabia. 11820. Try the other frequency. I'm trying to remember the other frequency for Saudi Arabia, but also there's Oman. Oman on 15140 is pretty much all day in Arabic. So interesting stuff to listen to. They aren't anymore. They're only at 13840 until 05. Ah, that's why. Okay. Should check the schedules more often. Okay, Matthew, thank you for telling me that. Oh, I'll try it 13840 later today then. Maybe it's going to come in better later in the evening. Okay. That's why. So, well, pretty much all these modes are good. Ghost World, WSPR maybe has an edge from what I read, but I'm not sure. But JT65 is absolutely, really, really cool for very, very weak contacts. I can tell you that. Sometimes you don't even hear nothing, and I mean it's there. SG2's Nebraska says Solar Flux 74, K-Index 3, not the best, but still. Okay, let's continue our websites. We're at 2 hours already in our live show. Hope you guys are enjoying our list of websites that we're taking a look at for shortwave and amateur radio information. So, QRZCQ and QRZ.com, 2 great websites. Let's check out here what else is coming in the number station stuff. So now we're at 2200. So, there's F01 on 19224 RTTY. Huh, okay. Target North America, 17491 F01, which I would guess is Cuba also, I imagine. I don't know. F01 from where? I wonder. So, anyways, DXZone.com, and the reason why DXZone.com is on my list is because it kind of has a amazing list of a gazillion websites. I mean, DXZone.com is an aggregator, sorry, of amateur radio, shortwave radio, and radio in general websites. So there's all sorts of categories you can go through. If you want to learn stuff and you want to see stuff about radio, I can tell you one thing. This will keep you up for hours. It's one of the first websites I came across when I was searching for more information on shortwave radio. And so you can go there, you're searching any information about, I don't know, antennas. Well, there's antennas, amateur radio, everything. So there's, categories. You can say, okay, I want to have information about, let's see here, antennas and feed lines. Well, you just click on it, and then it's going to give you a reference of different websites, more specific categories with what you're actually searching for. And then it's going to bring you other websites. Now, there's a lot of outdated websites in there. That's maybe one thing that I would say about it. But and that's exactly what Bullfrog is saying right now. There are some dead links in there because they haven't really kind of cleaned it up much. But even though there's still some dead links and some websites that are just outdated, I still find that if you go through it slowly, there's still a lot of little stuff that can be interesting to go through. So check it out. It's a resource. It's just that unfortunately it's not kept up that easily. What's that signal on 10725? Do I have something here on 10725? What do we have here? Nothing here on 10725. So even though maybe some links are outdated, it's still worth it's still worth just checking out what they have here and go through. And it covers everything from antennas to scanners to shortwave, CB, all sorts of things. Still check it out. I think it's one of those things that's useful. So the DX Zone, kind of aggregator of all sorts of websites. Okay. Well, I'll put this one with, let me just check it out. I'll not talk about this one immediately because I think we'll have that with the other website here. Shortwavelistening.com. Shortwavelistening.com. This is another great website for information. So shortwavelistening.com is a very, very, very useful place to go to for tons of information on shortwave in general. They have radio reviews. They have posts of all sorts of information. Very, very amazing. Hey, David Snyder, nice to have you on board. Have a great weekend. Here you'll have all that you need of information. You'll have basic info on what shortwave is and everything. You have, the shortwave listening posts. You have shortwave radio index. So if you want to have, reviews of radios and everything, there are some reviews here of almost everything. There's great articles and great news of all sorts of what's happening in the shortwave hobby in general. So you have the latest news, the reviews, articles. There's radio recordings. There's all sorts of info in here, and it's an extensive website, by the way. Very, very, very nice and interesting website. One of the great ones that exist on the internet. And I have the great opportunity to have a login to this website that have been offered to me that I should really use and do articles that I could post here, because I have the great honor. I had the great honor of being invited to join the community here on the shortwavelistening.com website. I should really take that privilege and write articles and do things. I think it would be very, very nice. So check it out. Very, very cool website, shortwavelistening.com. One of the best out there in all informations, quick start guides, everything, radio reviews of all kinds. Radio reviews, they have tons of them, from portables, ultralights, SDRs, everything in here. So it's a great website for all sorts of information. So for example, Texan PL660, you just go through here and they have reviews of everything, even older receivers. If you want to have an idea of a receiver, is it good or not, a lot of the receivers, even older receivers, are reviewed in here. So it's a great website to check out. So it's really one of the top rated websites that I would say for shortwave listening. Okay, one that I like to go to for you want to DX rare and exotic places. It's dxwatch.com. Now there's many websites that have the same type of information. dxwatch.com. What is that website? Basically, DXWatch is like a cluster where you have in real time amateur radio stations from everywhere around the world that are having contacts. And it's cool if you want to DX rare countries. So let's just put it here. Here we go, dxwatch.com. So basically, here you will see lists that are refreshed all the time. And you have the stations, the amateur radio stations that are talking with each other. So here, for example, EA2 OT talk to TX5EG, French Polynesia, 14027. So if you want to DX rare countries, you look at the list here that's updated all the time, and you look at all the contacts that are going through. And it's really cool because, you can listen to really rare stations. I can tell you that. Really, really nice for that. So here, I'll check out the list and say, okay, interesting countries. I often try to find stations that have contacts with stations close to me. You can also put filters and say, okay, I want to have a list here of just stations from Finland or from Russia or from any African country, and it's going to show you the last stations from these areas. For example, here Israel, and then one here is Faroe Island. That's kind of rare. So you got tons of information here of actual contacts that have been happening in the last few minutes. So you have the time here in Zulu and UTC. So if you are a fan of listening to amateur radio signals, or if you're an amateur radio operator, this is cool because now you can actually check out the different stations. So here, Lithuania, CQ Asia Pacific, so he's calling towards Asia. you know, all sorts of, so this one, 50 megahertz contact here. You can, of course, choose in the filters, say, I just want to have 20 meters. And another website that Raptor, David in Barcelona, is sharing is DX Fun Cluster. So let's check it out here. dxfuncluster.com. Let's check out his website. This is cool. This is also the fun part of the interactions with you know, chat. So here we go. Here is, you know, it does resemble a lot, but you have the filters here easily. So here it's in Spanish, you see. So you can, of course, if you want, I'll say no here. You can translate it with Google Translate. So a same type of place, but actually I like the fact that at the top you can actually probably, so if I click 20 meters, it actually redoes the list for only 20 meters. So okay, that's interesting. I like that, David. Really, really nice. Thanks for sharing that. This is cool for that, actually. It's more fun because instead of adding filters of what you want to have, you have actually access with buttons here that are very, very, very simple to use for different bands. So it is kind of nice, absolutely. So pretty cool. So another one that's pretty cool, dxfuncluster.com, and easy to use. Even though it's in Spanish, you know, there's like the universal language of the numbers and the contacts here. So, you know, you don't really need to understand Spanish to use this page, which is easy. So if you want to know what's happening in the 15-meter band, you just click on it. You look at all the contacts that are actually going to show up here, and here we go. So thanks for the website, David. dxfuncluster.com. Really nice website. Okay, you want to have just. Oh, okay. I didn't look at the page completely, so you can actually choose your language on the left side. Cool. Thanks, David. Primetime shortwave is an easy. Okay, idioma is language. Okay, thank you for the info. I will check it out. I'll check it out later. I'm actually going to play with that DX Fun Cluster website for sure. Primetime shortwave is another great resource if you only listen to English language broadcasts. Primetime shortwave, easy list. So you have shortwave schedules by time sort. Or you also can choose all shortwave schedules to a certain area. So for example, if I want to have only shortwave schedules to America, so shortwave schedules to America, you click on that, and now it has a list of only the broadcasts that are made for America. If you want to have Europe, whatever, so for example, you can you know, choose, okay, I want to have just a broadcast to Europe. And now you got only European broadcasts in here. And so it's nice if you want to specifically choose a certain region. And of course, you can also choose by country, so you can have country sort. So now you got an alphabetical list of countries with their broadcasts on shortwave with time and frequency. So primetime shortwave, it's a simple list, but a very effective list. primetimeshortwave.com, and I will share this web page also. primetimeshortwave.com, and here we go. It is now shared. primetimeshortwave.com, another great little simple resource to get your schedules, basically. One of my favorite shortwave lists ever, of course, EIBISpace.de, which is the full language, every shortwave broadcasts in every language around the world. This is one of my favorite websites for the schedules, EIBISpace.de. And I will, of course, once again, share this with everybody. EIBISpace.de, and here, And this is every language, every schedule of every station in every language. So you have two choices. The one on the left is by time. So you click there, you've got by time every single broadcast that exists on the international shortwave bands, including some utility broadcasts also, by the way. And on the right side, by frequency, which is very useful if you're listening to a signal and you're like, okay, what's on 11820? So you can actually use the search functionality of your browser and say, okay, 11820, and immediately go to, okay, right now there's either broadcasting of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, or the possibility of China radios later. So 18 to 23, now I would have, okay, Saudi Arabia and Arabic to Europe on 11820. So I like that because I like the list form of this, but many websites actually use their own way of, you know, showing the information and actually use the lists that come from here. By the way, also there's something here that says CSV database. What's that? It's the comma separated value of the frequency list. And basically you can actually use that, and with the frequency manager here included in your HDSDR software I have here, so all the schedules are there. So if I hear a station, I can actually find it in here. It's going to tell me what it is. If I want, I can actually use the schedules there, click on the frequency over there, and it's going to actually tune my radio to that frequency. So it's cool, and that CSV database is used by many software, by the way, to for the shortwave schedule. So it's pretty cool for that also. So really the best list of international broadcasts of every kind, including even some utility broadcasts. Neil Brad, and hey, nice to have you here. What do you think of the Klingenfuss shortwave frequency guide? It is a very complete. It is a very complete for utility, especially for utility. It's one of the most complete books around. I have not purchased Klingenfuss in a long time. I think the last edition I have is like 10 years old. But I have to say it's extremely complete, and especially for any utility chasing guy or girl, it's amazing. It's an amazing source of information. A little expensive, but pretty good. And I gotta say, that's why it's been 10 years since I bought the last one, because I do find it a little expensive. You know, I understand the guy works really hard, but I do find it's a little expensive for what it is. That would be the negative side. And that's why I haven't purchased another copy in 10 years, especially for the utility part, because okay, now maybe 10 years I should refresh, but for the utility part, utility signals don't change that much. So, you know, you don't really need to get it every year. I don't think it's something you need every year. But from time to time, you know, to refresh your copy, like now it's been 10 years, yeah, maybe refresh my copy would be a good idea. But kind of expensive a little bit. I do agree with you guys on that. And I hope he's not watching. He's probably mad as hell now. You know, but it is an amazing source of information, I have to say. Okay, dxmaps.com, an amazing resource for propagation purposes. So, dxmaps.com. You want to know what frequency is open to what part of the world. This is cool because it's interactive maps of the propagation conditions. And it is an amazingly cool source of propagation, visual propagation conditions. and it is of every type of propagation conditions, or a backscatter or aurora or sporadic E-skip or regular skip, and basically that's why there's colors, because the colors tell you what type of propagation is giving them this. Then you have, of course, not just the maps, but you have the choice on the top of the world or a continent. So I'm here on North America. You choose HF, for example. I want to know 20 meters on HF there, the 20 meter band on HF, what type of conditions. And look at all these signals everywhere, going to Europe and everywhere. You see kind of real-time conditions of the bands, and it's very, very cool. So I use this mainly, I will tell you guys, mainly to personally know if 50 megahertz is open. So I take a look at 6 meters through here. For example, there's some 6 meter contacts up to here, and since I live here in Montreal, maybe I should try 50 megahertz. There are some contacts. So the East Coast has sporadic E-skip, West Coast a little bit also. And of course you can zoom in or out of the maps as you wish. So you just choose, how you want to zoom in or out. There's lots of sporadic E-skip going on over Europe right now, for example, for you guys on 50 megahertz. So it's really, really cool. dxmaps.com is amazing, cool source of information, and you've got all sorts of frequencies and all the amateur bands, even up to the UHF bands. Lots of visual information, really nice. You can have map, list, graph, or chart, depends what you want, and it's amazing resource. I use that all the time to see if there's some contacts on 6 meters, for example. So M. Blair says, and by the way, welcome, says DX Maps is my go-to for propagation info. It is amazing if you want to know if band conditions are good for this or that. So really, really, really nice for that. Joey D says there is one for FM2. I really like it. Really helped me for the good conditions radio stations. Yeah, it's really amazing. It's absolutely. If you FMDX here, it says FMDX. You just click in FMDXing, and you'll see here for FMDX all the information that shows up on maps for every type of information. Everything. Pretty cool. dxmaps.com. Amazing resource. And yep, field day next weekend, absolutely, for amateur radio operators. This is, and for listeners, I always find it kind of cool to listen to field day. Hey Totar, nice to have you back. So what else do we have? Propagation conditions coming from this one I like because of its basic information. dx.qsl.net. dx.qsl.net is very, very nice. dx.qsl.net, and I will share the basic page. There you go to propagation for all sorts of information on the basic info of solar indices. So you have your solar indices here: solar flux 74, H103, K3. You also have, the different sunspot numbers. You have the activity. You have also, flare activity on and everything. You also have aurora activity. It's, showing you the aurora zone on the poles, so you know if conditions could be good or not, or good for certain types of propagation. Of course, you have graphical views of the solar output in X-ray. And there's the gray line map, which is always very, very useful in knowing where it's dark, where it's sunshine, because it helps you in understanding what frequencies you might use for a specific place that you want to talk to. And there's finally the near real-time maximum usable frequency map around the world that is actually telling you what frequencies you might want to use, or what frequencies might be open between one part and the other around the world. So there's the complete map almost real time, using the information of the solar flux and everything. So and here I'm going to add the suggestion of Mr. David in Barcelona, voacap.com. So VOACAP is the Voice of America coverage analysis program. You can actually download it also on your PC and have all the conditions. Wow, it's raining real hard suddenly here. So you have all the conditions with a piece of software that will tell you all the necessary information about the frequencies, the maximum usable frequency and everything. I knew about this. I don't like to include too much things about software because I don't like too much to have people download stuff on their PC. But thanks for the suggestion, voacap.com. And maybe two last one for propagation, spaceweather.com. Very, very interesting and complete information on geomagnetic activity, on all sorts of space stuff that's happening with pictures. Of course, how the sun is behaving. You have also the basic information of solar flux and everything here, and you do have information about any sunspots, solar flares, and everything. It's a mix of astronomy, of radio, of what's happening on the sun, but it's more towards astronomy. But it's a useful website to also understand why maybe propagation is crappy because of the sun acting. One also that is solarham.net, I believe, solarham.net, which is another very complete, what's happening with the sun web page that you can go to and check out. It has a lot of information of what's happening, solar flare. If you want to learn what is happening, because the sun has an amazing effect on shortwave radio. It has a direct interaction with shortwave radio. So if there's a solar flare, anything, it's very important that to see what's happening. So really nice website also. So I'll share the links of both websites. So spaceweather.com mix, more, it's related closer to probably astronomy than radio, but here we go. So here we go. Okay, interesting, David. I'll check it out. VOACAP has some very useful and online info also. Okay, we'll check it out. And the other one is solarham.net, and here we go. So that's lots, all the information that you need is in here. And so this was a selection of some of my favorite shortwave stuff, basically, that I can show you guys. I don't know, I'm trying to check out what else we can find here. I don't know. So Ralph Bender has a full text list, by the way, of everything that I've shared today. So kind of cool to check it out. And one last little self-promotion here concerning PayPal donations that you can of course send us at this PayPal email. And so that is to help me out if you wish. Really nice and very, very cool, Ralph, to have done that little list that you're sharing with all the websites today. So of course PayPal for donations at this website. Thank you for everybody that have donated. It's much welcome. And also patreon.com at Radio and Computers. Thanks once again for all people that donated. What I'd like now is maybe in the coming weeks, if you guys have websites I haven't talked about, websites that are related to radio that you say, oh, this is a must, but he hasn't talked about that. What I would like you guys to do is, why not send me out your favorite websites, maybe by email at officialshortwaveradio@gmail.com. By sending me your websites, I'll actually look at them, all of them, and maybe we'll do another show showing off, all the different websites that we actually can have, related to propagation, to shortwave radio, and everything. So I think it could be very, very cool. And of course, maybe, we all have, and I'm sure pretty much everybody has some, specific website that they actually like that, maybe we didn't talk about today. And so, these some are, what I've chosen here as the websites are some that I use all the time, but there's so much more probably that maybe we don't even know about. So we've added a few that, some of you actually have, added also to today's list. And anything else before we start slowly wrapping it up? We've been on for 2 hours 30 minutes. This is the Shortwave Radio Show. We're here every week. We alternate between Fridays and Saturdays. So of course we do today's the Friday show, so the next show will be Saturday, June 24th, which is Quebec's national holiday, by the way. One of the things, the RF newsletter for Rochelle and Harvey is also a nice one, absolutely. HF newsletter, but it has a lot of things on radio, a lot of things of non-radio. That is one of interest also. That is free and you can subscribe to. Actually, you receive it by email. I wanted to add on Wednesday, part 2 of the shortwave radio for newbies, basically. This Wednesday at 2000 hours UTC, we will talk about shortwave receivers. So basically what we'll do is have a look at basic shortwave radios to, SDRs to tabletops, and what's the difference between all of that, and how to choose a shortwave radio, and also, the bells and whistles that each different category have. And we'll give suggestions of, shortwave receivers for different price ranges, because not everybody can buy $10,000 radios. So like that, if somebody wants to jump into the hobby, well, it's cool because, they'll have the possibility to actually, choose maybe one receiver in there. And also, kind of know how to choose a radio and what's the differences between the different receivers. So, yeah, okay, just a second here, Jay Watterson, because I forgot to take it out. I'm just going to look if I can take it out quite easily. So I did promise I would actually take it out today. And let me just check out here. Yeah. Let's add a little, oh man. I'll put it on my notes because I have to remember. It's where it is actually. It's a little difficult to reach right now, Jay Watterson. But I promise I will take it out. I have to, anyways. This week I'm gonna try to do the expedition, so I'll have to take it out, anyways, and check it out. So next show I promise I will take it out from where it is, because now if I take it out, I have to take out half of the room. Because it's been there since my last expedition last year, and there's like tons of things over it. I'm really sorry about that, but I will, I promise. So I'll have it in the next show. Promise. A Fedry giveaway. You really want to have it in a Fedry, eh, Jerry? Oh, God. Brett Wayne, yeah. Actually, also, it'll give me time to refresh it because maybe there's like all sorts of dirt and things in there. So I'll have the time to refresh the bag at the same time and just like show a nice, cool bag, not a bag full of, chips and, breadcrumbs and whatever, because of all the things that I brought with it over the months. So yes, I know, Jay Watterson, but I totally forgot to take it out. So it's it's one of those things that I need to take notes sometimes. So I'll take it out. Yep, a Fedry is amazing. Yeah, almost, Mick, almost dead rats. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, I will check it out. Was that the link that you sent me? It's the only one that I didn't check right now. You sent me a link. I saw that you sent me a link and check that out. So probably there, that link. Pretty cool. Hey, take care, Richard. Nice to have you on board, as usual. Anybody have a question, anything to add before we start wrapping up our shortwave show for today? A little something that we've missed. Yeah, well, Richard, 20 meters in the summertime. 20 meters is a 24-hour thing here. At midnight, I'll hear stations from all across Europe on 20 meters. So it almost always is open in the summertime. So okay, well, just refresh the schedules. Remember that next Wednesday, 2000 hours UTC, we will have for beginners, part 2, which is going to be shortwave radio receivers and how to choose a radio and what's the difference between all the radios and everything. And next Saturday, June 24th, will be our next shortwave show. Not sure of the subject yet, but I think it's going to be, of course, related to shortwave as usual. So, hey, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. I want to thank everyone for being here as usual. It was a nice turnout. Thanks for everybody that donated during the show. I did hear my phone do little buzzes. So there's a few donations, and I want to thank everyone, for sure. Brandy Handel says, is the Soft 66Q worth the money? And what will I need to make it work on my computer? I have a mini USB to full USB and an antenna. What you'll need is simply to download the free software like HDSDR or what's the name? SDR Sharp. And that's pretty much what you'll need, and you'll need to download a special driver to have it working maybe. But how much is it, Brady? The Soft 66Q. I know the Soft 66 was around $40, but what's the price on the Soft 66Q? It's a little early at this time. I can try it, but I don't think it's a little early for receiving the buzzer right now, Richard. Let me check it out here. 4625 upper sideband. Yeah, it's a little too early right now for a buzzer, and I haven't heard it in many weeks also, by the way. So for sure. So thanks everybody for being here. It's nice to have all of you on board. $47 US. Well, is it better than the Soft 66, the regular one? That's another story, I would say. So I don't know. if at that price it seems to have only HF if it is better in the reception of shortwave, could be useful. But I would rather have the soft 66 RTL that has at least a wide band frequency range, I would say. David says, remember everyone that this weekend is the VOA radiogram, the last VOA radiogram. That's true, last VOA radiogram. So it's time to listen to that for a last time. Really sad, really sad. And so the last VOA radiogram, which was a very, very nice effort in using digital modes to for shortwave enthusiasts. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. So anything else? We're gonna wind down a little bit. Sorry, Bobby. Kind of tired a little bit. We had a from the couch yesterday. Had a lot of live shows this week, so I'm a little tired. I think I'm gonna take it a little easy. I'm gonna try to do some shortwave a little bit tonight, even though propagation doesn't seem to be that great. Something, but almost nothing on 13840. So, oh, it's migrating to WRMI. Okay, it's the okay, the last one from. It's the last one from the transmitter side that they were using, and they will be okay through WRMI from now on. Okay. Thanks for correcting this. So the VOA radiogram will just be from WRMI starting from now, which will cost them less money than using their own transmitters. David says he's going to use his Sony CFS W350L to record VOA radiogram into cassette using the built-in deck, but also will be recording to digital at the same time as a backup in case the cassette didn't decode. Aha, interesting. That's kind of cool. So hey guys, I want you to take care. It's nice to of course have this show. Hope you enjoyed the selection of websites. Hope maybe some of you have found new websites you didn't know existed. And if you guys have websites that I haven't talked about, I want to share them. Official shortwave radio at gmail.com. You can send your websites there, and I will of course check them out and make another show of websites. And by the way, I saw somebody say, can you do a show about M. Blair, can you do a show on identifying digital signals by sound? You know what, that's a good idea. That could be the subject of the next show, having audio clips of different digital signals and trying to ID or by ear, trying to make sense of, because as you listen to digital signals all the time, you come to a point where you can ID by ear a lot of those signals and actually know what digital signal is and from one show to another. So that is kind of interesting. So next show covers some web SDR sites for shortwave listening. Yeah, we'll check that out. I'm more inclined into the radio listening, but yeah, it could be interesting also. So really nice to have all of you on board. So thanks everybody. Thank you for the donations, and see you soon next Wednesday for the newbie, or for the shortwave radio for beginner show 2000 UTC, and of course next Saturday, June 24th. And you know what? I'll bring up the bag, and so we'll be able to see what I bring along at Perry Island also. So we'll have all sorts of information next shortwave show. So thanks everybody for being here. Always fun to have these shows. Always fun to have a great gang like you guys and girls that enjoy our hobby. Take care of everybody. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Bye.